They say Students on Ice is a life-changing experience, but it's not until you've been on an expedition yourself that you can fully understand what it means. On our Students on Ice trip to the Arctic, the journey has been as significant as the destination. It has been a journey of shared knowledge and understanding, and one of personal growth and discovery that will take us well beyond the here and now of the expedition.
We first flew from Ottawa to Kangerlussuaq to join our expedition ship. We then sailed north along the west coast of Greenland before crossing Baffin Bay to the Canadian Arctic. Our voyage took us to many new places, giving us the opportunity to meet northern communities, go hiking, observe and learn about wildlife, and gain an understanding of climate change and other challenges facing not only the Arctic and the people who call the North their home, but also the planet as a whole.
There are endless ways to describe what this expedition has been for us, but here are some words that capture best the essence of our journey.
We have an interpretive walk, mammals and birds, with David Gray and Gary Donaldson. And we're going to have field botany with Paul. He's going to gather you guys right here. So follow Paul.
That one's mountain avens. And you see the how it's shaped like a dish? The reason it does that is because the flower actually follows the sun throughout the day.
I caught some fairy shrimp in the little pond here. These ones aren't as quick as the ones in the pond back there, but they're still pretty hard to catch.
Anytime a bird comes and nests there, if they're bringing in nesting material or feeding their young, or the chicks die, the shells, all the poop just increases the possibility of other kinds of life, of plants coming in there and growing.
So this is a sediment core. And we're basically going back in time, so we're 3 to 5 centimeters now, and probably back a couple hundred years of Arctic history. And so by now we should be back into, I don't know, the 1800s or the 1700s, well before humans were, putting too much CO2 in the atmosphere or polluting the environment.
I always kind of like catching little critters like frogs or minnows, but I don't get to do it much. I'm definitely going to keep this in mind to be an oceanographer like Daniele, because it's definitely a lot of fun, even if I do get some water in my boots sometimes.
Some of the changes are quite alarming. Across Greenland, we can see evidence of nitrogen pollution from agriculture and from driving cars for transportation. We can also see in the algae, a lot of the lakes are losing their lake ice, and the ponds are losing pond ice earlier in the year.
This here is the Jakobshavn Ice Fjord, which drains the Jakobshavn Ice Brae, or a glacier, which comes down off the Greenland ice sheet. There's 4 main glaciers that drain the Greenland ice sheet. And what we've seen is since about 1850, the ice margin was about over there, and it's been retreating back since 1850 or so. But around 1990, it started speeding up, whereas going tens of kilometers back every year.
If the students see it happening now, they know it's really happening, and they know that it's going to continue to happen and continue to happen at a higher rate if nothing's done about about global warming. And the students can take that information back with them, back home, to make better decisions, that more informed decisions to reduce the rate at which global warming is taking place.
What is beauty? What is the reason you say it's beautiful? Why is it more beautiful than a garbage dump? Now, ask yourself that question. The garbage dump full of old tin cans, which is a result of industry. It's a result of food and good energy brought from someplace else and into a city and then used in a kitchen and thrown away. Is that less beautiful than these rocks, which we don't know anyway?
I've never seen anything this big before or anything this beautiful, and I just got overwhelmed with emotion, like I usually do when I see something breathtaking.
Whatever it is, it causes an emotional reaction here.
I was speechless. Everything just comes back to not having words.
And this is what beauty is. It's a combination of instinctive and learned reactions that you pull together. And I think we say that makes it more satisfaction than if they weren't together.
I hope that this is here for my children to come and see. And I hope that the planet as a whole, humanity, can make positive changes in the way that we live, so that we can keep things like this around for as long as possible.
Sealing, fishing, whaling. Yeah. My community doesn't do whaling. Okay. No whales coming to us. But
yeah, this looks like my home. The hills are still around, just like home.
What's that boat over there? That red one?
We get food from that.
Oh, you get food?
Yeah.
So it's like the what is it? At the beginning of the expedition, I was feeling kind of nervous because I thought I wouldn't make any friends because I'm shy, and I thought I wouldn't be able to go up to a person and talk to them.
The difference between some of the youth that come on Students on Ice is that when they first begin the journey, a lot of the northern kids don't have the confidence to be expressive, just like some of the other youth. In fact, they don't, if you ask them to speak, they'll just turn the other way and walk away. Because they're not confident, and they don't really understand or realize that they're just as important as you are, or as I am, or as anybody else is. Northern Inuit and other Aboriginal peoples have been through a very rapid change over the last 50 years or so. We were a colonized people, and the colonization process basically stripped us of our right to be an independent people.
It's fun. The cruise ship is nice. I met a lot of nice people like Tyson.
At the residential schools, you guys were hit for speaking your language. Why weren't you allowed to speak your language?
It goes back to the policies that were instituted by the federal government through the churches. And we weren't allowed to speak Inuktitut in our school or even on the playground. And if we did get caught, we got punished. The colonization and the residential school has had an impact on all the people, like no matter how old you are. So those differences actually affect the relationship between the southern youth and the northern youth at the beginning. But I think after a while, after they start talking to each other, then the understanding begins.
So these were the ones. Oh, so these are all. What are they called? Blackberry. Blackberry.
And then roll it together, and then put it in the oil, and that would be the wick. And that would be their stove in the houses right there, or in their igloos, or in their tents.
Being Inuk and being non-Inuk as well, having Métis, I'm in a very privileged position to be able to help both sides understand each other.
The other thing that we have to remember is that in our culture, in the Inuit culture, silence is a good thing.
People find us quiet. I'm not quiet. I don't fall into that stereotype. I think it comes down to the way Inuit interact with each other.
It's very normal to have that silence, and you'll see a lot of the northern kids, they answer with their face. They don't answer verbally, like we say yes and no.
So when you're sitting with an elder and you're just having a conversation, you don't ask the elder questions. You don't talk to them first. You wait for them to tell you what to do. You wait for them to talk to you, just out of respect. And you wait. Patience is another big thing.
I have more confidence in myself now. I want to tell everyone back home that it's okay to be different. It's okay to come out of your shell and show everyone who you are.
Everybody all together. We are of the land. We are water too. We are in the air.
Students on Ice is founded on experience as a learning and teaching device, and out of that I think is a much broader sense of what it is to be a human being than you would find in more conventional educational contexts or schools. So we're actually building human capacity here. We're turning the experiences into songs, we're turning them into artwork, we're turning them into conversations, we're turning them into lasting friendships.
Just gotta dance. In my
bed. Because we're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, circling the midnight sun, chasing ice and doing all the things we do, all of those different types of activities, those different times of the day and night, provide these opportunities for different people to step forward in different ways. And that is, I don't know, keeps me coming back. It makes me feel very lucky.
The follow-up, you'll find that most of them, like 90%, will say it was life-changing. And I've seen it over a decade and a half that I've been associated with the program. And it's true.
I knew it was going to be a life-changing experience, but to this degree I had no idea. Just being here, you feel almost vulnerable in a way because it's so different from your life back home.
I went into this thinking that I would go to the Arctic and it would be a great experience, and then I'd come back and I'd get on with my life, and now I have a completely different view of what I want to do with myself when I get out of it.
When you think of the non-Inuit students on the expedition and how much this has opened their eyes to the vastness of this beautiful territory and Greenland, and the importance of being environmentally aware and sensible, then I truly believe they'll go far in life as well.
First year, so many of our students hadn't thought about even going to university. 15 years later, some have got PhDs and work in environmental science. That's very rewarding. That makes us feel like we had some impact.
I built this so I can remember this land. So, never know, I might come back again.
When I went through this expedition, learning new things and how challenging it is, but you get to learn new things, and yeah, it makes me see how education could be. It's new ways of learning.
And out of that comes a learning environment that has the potential, and history has shown that this potential has been realized. It has the potential to change the world.
Out of the night, out on the water, we pull the boat back to shore.
As the expedition comes to an end, we leave with a sense of inner strength,
knowing that we return home with new friendships and knowledge, with these words in mind and a desire to share them with others.
The ore dips into oil.